Coming to you live from the Releasing Center. This is Gntv. Today, 13th of December 2022. My name is Whitney Kinimbabazi Mushabe. Let's take a quick recap on the top stories. In today's top stories, President Museveni accuses Europe for hypocrisy on its climate and energy policy. 2 police officers die in a nasty road accident in Kintugumugulu Highway. In the international stories, former Guinean leader Kamara pleads innocence in the 2009 massacre. In the sports news, Vipers FC drawn in a Group C of the CAF Champions. Pleasure to have you join us here on Gntv at 12. We start off the meeting with the foreign investors in London. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni says the problem of environmentally controversial oil exploitation project is not in carbon footprint but agreed with the misusers. Our reporter gives us more details in that report.
His Excellency the President of Uganda, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, has accused Europe on Monday of Brazilian double standards towards Africa in its climate and energy policies. He lashed out at Europe's return to coal-fired power plants in the face of the energy crisis triggered by the war in Ukraine, while at the same time telling African nations not to use fossil fuels. Europe's failure to meet its climate goals should not be Africa's problem, according to Museveni. Museveni said they will not accept one rule for them and another rule for us. Museveni wrote in a blog published that coincides with the UN's COP 2017 climate summit taking place in the Egypt resort of Sharm el-Sheikh.
The of the business, the oil project is on schedule. It is on schedule. Nothing will stop it. And we are committed to the environment. That's why we are developing our electric vehicle industry.
Museveni comments follow warnings from African leaders at COP27 about the damage climate change is already wreaking on the continent. United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change in February warned that tens of millions of Africans face a future marked by drought, diseases, and displacements due to global heating. Wealthy nations have failed to provide a pledged $100 billion a year from 2020 to developing nations to help them build resilience and green their economies, reaching just $83 billion according to the UN. Africa's carbon footprint is the lowest of any continent, accounting for around 3% of global emissions.
Carbon is not the problem.
According to Museveni, they will not allow African progress to be the victim of Europe's failure to meet its own climate goals. It's more bankrupt for Europeans to expect to take Africa's fossil fuels for their own energy production, but to refuse countenance African use of those same fuels for theirs. Museveni said European nations needed to end their Brazilian double standards and hypocrisy and took aim at what he said were conditions that Western investment in fossil fuels in Africa was possible only for oil and gas that would be sent to Europe. Earlier this year, France's Total Energies and the China National Offshore Oil Corporation signed a $10 billion agreement to develop Uganda oil fields and ship the crude through 1,445 kilometer, that is 900-mile pipeline to a Tanzanian port on Indian Ocean. The project, which includes drilling in Murchison Falls, Uganda's largest national park, has run into strong opposition from activists and environmental groups that say it threatens the region's fragile ecosystem and the livelihood of tens of thousands of people. The European Parliament in September adopted a resolution calling for the project to be delayed over rights violations infuriating Kampala.
Thank you, our reporter Matthias Tukunda, for that report. Moving on, the United Kingdom has imposed sanctions on the former Uganda police chief Edward Kali Kaihura for his alleged role in gross human rights violations when he was at the helm of the Uganda police force. Let's take a look.
The United Kingdom government, through its global human rights regime, has imposed sanctions on former police chief General Edward Kale Kaihura for allegedly pretending over human rights violations, including torture and other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment and punishment while he was still at the helm of Uganda Police Force. General Kale Kaihura, the Inspector General of Police in Uganda from 2005 to 2018, while Kaihura was in charge, he oversaw multiple units responsible for human rights violations, including torture and other cruel, inhuman, degrading treatment and punishment, reads a part of December 9, 2022 statement issued by UK's Foreign Secretary James Cleverly. According to Cleverly, the new wave of sanctions targets corrupt actors and those violating and abusing human rights, as well as perpetrators of sexual violence in conflict. The new wave, coordinated with UK's international partners, were announced as the World marked International Anti-Corruption Day and Human Rights Day. The package includes individuals and entities involved in a wide range of grievous activities, including the torture of prisoners, the mobilization of troops to rape civilians, and systematic atrocities. It is their duty to promote free and open societies around the world. Today, the UK sanctions go further to expose those behind the heinous violations of our most fundamental rights to account. They are committed to using every level at their disposal to secure a future of freedom over fear. Since gaining new powers following the exit from EU, the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office has issued targeted sanctions across multiple regimes to hold those committing these egregious acts, whether in Russia, Iran, Myanmar, or elsewhere, to account, Mr. Cleverly said. According to him, the UK has designated 8 individuals under the global human rights regime, which allows the UK to stop those involved in serious human rights abuses and violations from entering the country, channeling money through UK banks, or profiting from their economy. General Kaihura was sanctioned alongside Miani Abdul Haki, a Muslim cleric from Pakistan responsible for forced conversions and marriages of girls and women from religious minorities, Sadrak Zorodon Rocha, and Yohaila Hernandez Chirino, the mayor and deputy mayor of Matagrapa in Nicaragua. The two are said to be involved in promoting and supporting grievous violations of human rights. The UK also sanctions Andrei Chenini, a member of the Russian Federal Security Service in Crimea, Arthur Shimbazov, a senior detective in the Autonomous Republic of Crimea. The pair tortured Ukrainian Alexandra Kostenko in 2015. On the list of sanctions is also Valentin Oparin, Major of Justice for the Russian Federation, and Oleg Chichenko, Head of Public Prosecutions for the Rostov region. Both are accused of obstructing complaints of torture, with Chichenko also using torture to extract testimony. The UK sanctions come 3 years after the United States government, through its Treasury Department, imposed sanctions on General Kaihura for reportedly engaging in corruption and human rights abuses. The US, on September 13, 2019, claimed that Kaihura directly supervised the torture of prisoners at Nalfenya Police Special Investigations Facility in Jinja. As the IGP for the Uganda Police Force, Kaihura led individuals from Uganda Police Force Flying Squad Unit, which has engaged in the inhuman treatment of detainees at the Nalfenya Special Investigation Center. Flying Squad Unit members reportedly used sticks and rifles butts to abuse detainees. The officers at Nalfenya are accused of having beaten one of the detainees with blunt instruments to the point that he lost consciousness. Detainees also reported that after being subjected to the abuse, they were offered significant sums, arraigned in the military court-martial on several charges. He was once seen as one of the most powerful military officers in the country before falling out of favor with the president. Museveni blamed the police for failing to curb rising insecurity in the country, including murderers and kidnappings. After sacking General Kaihura and the Minister of Security Henry Tumukunde, the president said he had uprooted the bin weevil that had infiltrated the police force. During his tenure, General Kaihura was accused mostly by human rights watchdogs for militarizing the police and heavy-handedness in dealing with anti-government protests. Several of his allies, including senior police officers, have been arrested for alleged illegal arrests, kidnap, repatriation of Rwandan refugees. The police force has also seen a raft of leadership changes since then.
Thank you, reporter Matthias Satukunda, for that report. Moving on, MPs have come out to attack Honorable Minister Kahinda Otofile on the debate he brought on the floor of Parliament that the government should reduce on the number of constituencies and divert the money to recruiting many police officers in the country. Let's take a look.
After Honorable Minister Kahinda Otofile came out and said government should reduce on constituencies in order to reduce on its expenditure and divert that money into recruiting more policemen, many MPs have come out to attack him, saying he's not the right person to talk about this. Speaking to Honorable Dennis Nyangweso, said the cost of public administration is too much and is getting affected.
So that is the pain. Uli aliye omuchalo asaba district, asaba sub county, asaba constituency ngabawuli. Oyo minister yaja mu parliament nga achikira sub county kati the constituency. Kati uli munene alaba nti wano wayitawo wano tayitawo ngayitawo wano. So generally it's not about parliament. Naye cost ya public administration okutwalira wamu bano ba ministries nyingi, bano ba presidential advisors bangi, ba special assistants bangi, balina value for money is very low. Naye balina political value but value for money is low. Kuba tosobola kusaba Kampala erina minister nga babiri, erina presidential advisors nga mukaaga Kampala ono. Defense waliwo ba ministers nga mukaaga, ba advisors balinga asatu, veterinary affairs, welfare affairs, defense, special assistant. Bano bonna government n'omusolo yabonaabona. Bwe tuba tunaatera okukendeza engeri gavumenti esaasaanyamu ssente, tulina okutandika okulaba nti tukendeeza mu bitongole bino, tukendeeza mu bantu. Ne parliament bweba yeetaaga tukole oba regional representation, tufune parliament y'abantu nga 2 wano nga 3, naye bw'okitandika wano tekisobola kuyita kuba ffenna we are products of such decisions endala nga tetulaba na kujja parliament.
Honorable Tamagu said the above minister is not the right person to bring out this motion because he is the one of the beneficiaries.
Ezababaka alumirirwe nnyo lwaki ajogerera eri ku TV ne ku social media. Njagala jje wano tumanye nze nja kumubakinga tuti minisita wa gavumenti yalabye ennaku ng'emutta lwaki parliament ejjudde bwe n'aleeta ekiteeso yamubakinze yabaddewo opposition ekyokukendeeza ku parliament. Naffe ebyo byonna tubiraba, but this creation or these many constituencies which are created as a result of political pressure, gavumenti gyalimu kuba nnaku ezo namulaba naye atembeeta mbu muzeeyi tova ku mini nembuuza oba ono agasa ki ministry ye mu kifo ky'okuteesa ebya ministry ali ku bya muzeeyi tova ku mini naye kakati akomyewo ndesemu parliament gyatuulamu agamba nene kituufu tukkiriza parliament nene ng'era boolaba omuwendo gw'abaminisita we guli omuyitirivu ennyo ne ba DCs bayitirivu nnyo, abawozi ba president bayitirivu nnyo. Ezo ze discussion ze twetaaga okutuulako wano ku meeza ne tugamba look here, tutunuulire enfuna y'Abannayuganda, twetunuuliremu naffe nga bwe tufaanana. Ng'era bwe yavuddeyo n'akireeta mu biseera bino. Musuubira okuleeta motion wano nga tali mu political bulingi we. Musuubira okuleeta motion ng'esaba gavumenti okukendeeza ku constituency. Kubanga even we have new constituencies which are going to be created. So bw'anaddaawo n'ateekawo political bulingi mbw ayagala bamulabe ng'alumirirwa nnyo eggwanga ng'ate y'omu kubalya ensimbi z'omuwi w'omusolo, kuba ogenda n'omubuuza nti gwe bakusasulira ki ssente nga ne mu parliament togendayo. Ebiteeso byo biteekawo bisa ku social media mu parliament togendayo atooka abantu government onona sente. So twalibadde twetaaga omukulembeze ng'oyo ng'abeera kyakulabirako nti aka constituency ke baali bagenda kumuwangula Museveni yakamuteerawo nti omuteerewo akawujju ka Luhinda naye abenga awaliira nga se twawulira bwakagaana. So kakati okutulaga nti is patriotic naffe tufuuke ekyokulabirako twagala minisita aveeyo agambe nti okumanya ennaku ennumanya ensi yange Uganda gyeraga constituency yange y'Eruhinda eveewo bwakireete wano bakireese mu eno oba matter of national importance oba kireese mu procedure oba kireese mu ngeri yonna ffe ab'opposition tulirwedde okumubakinga because ebyo ebigambo byayogera si alina okubyogera. There are certain people who are supposed to talk like him but not him because he's one of the burdens of this country. Okubanga tulina ba minister 82 nga ne wano speaker right honorable speaker Anita Amonga asiba abeegayirira ba minister nga tebaliiwo ne bamukolako entondo ba minister nga tebaliiwo ne bamukolako entondo y'omu ku ba minister kutola batatendinga wano era ebiseera gye bijja engeri abantu gye bakyukakyuka tuyinza n'okulowooza nti is a stranger to this house.
MPs go on saying that those constituencies are made only to satisfy individuals. For GNTV, Toheyo Ronald at Parliament.
Ronald for that report. Moving on to police officers died while 14 others survived with critical injuries after a police patrol vehicle they were traveling in overturned in Paito Trading Center along Gulu Kitugumu Highway on 12 December evening. Our reporters details.
2 police officers died while 14 others survived with critical injuries after a police patrol vehicle they were traveling in overturned at Paito Trading Center along Gulu Kitugum Highway. 2 of the 14 survivors said the driver of the pickup vehicle was overspeeding. It is also established that the police officers who were involved in the fatal road accident were traveling to a neighboring Agago district for a mission when the vehicle they were traveling in overturned. The survivors are currently under treatment at Gulu Regional Referral Hospital. Mr. Leonard Ojok, the Agago district chairperson, confirmed the incident in a WhatsApp message stating that one of the officers died on spot while the second officer died while being rushed to Gulu Referral Hospital. Kenneth Omaro, one of the field officer unit attached to Gulu Central Police Station, says the vehicle was overspeeding before it hit a hump near Piacho Trading Center and overturned. Asimwe, GNTV News at 12.
Thank you, Desire Asimwe, for that report. Moving on, Ruiz District Security Authorities, led by RDC Bruno, held a security meeting with the farmers of both Chambra and Rukoma Farmers Cooperative Society Limited in Katera County, Rubirizi District, in conjunction to secure over thousands of hectares of land for the farmers. Let's take a look.
Obulaga nti chairperson ali mu bukoli obwo naye ate nyinza okukakasa mu kintu kimu kubanga group zazenga akulembera zona zigwa completely so tetumanyi nti ettaka oba dira agirimu oba tagirimu kubanga yandi batagirimu omuntu ng'ebbaluwa ng'ente wandi badogo gamba nti kangende mu meeting okumeetinga abantu bano ne batuuka ne babawa n'emitwalo 5 tekisoboka.
Gwe ng'omubaka w'Ekatere
tulagidde ne district security office yonna tulagidde nti wonna we bamulabira mu district yaffe ayina amagye atambula n'amagye akwatibwe ne ame commander alagidde brigade commander nti oyo bamulaba nga ayina escort z'amagye akwatibwe.
Nareba ngo sosiyete taimi nareba ngo kutwikaha ababine papere sibyamushemeza because yachikwana mu speech yeye yagira ati nyiwe katandika ni ndidinga Rukoma burge myaka yiragenda nazingahi kwa ngureba kasigaze ngakine kipapara nkechi nguranywe kantangaza ite kipapare kino mugasho munonga because twasirwe munonga turira ngurukoma nenda kugenda kinyina mwitaka kurekana ko umuhinzi kwa kuba yinjira yagira ati possible izo fuyire hata na nyama yanti abombaho nago bose ringizinga igitaka rya nyamba no burentine rukoma itaka konka ndiryagira bita riba rya nyamba then hati ya rukoma twiza tukugira ngo tubinga cyamani kureka tuza tubine huru yo kugira ngo tubiyongogwe ariko ndakugira ata guritaka ryitu
muza kivuze mkebi byone biriho nebigambe biwashanga bari kugamba reke yamani wanyitegereza yo kuba ari wari wasama wari chairman mukashemererwa ninga ni mukabiye
very good aho shinkashemererwa bito kutasemererwa kwanje tuko twizirire kureka twiziriro ubwo muzigo witu rero shinanye no kwaraga yaterese umuyamuterera kugira ngo amuguzitaka umubuze itaka ryo nerya nyoko
constituency yona amataka ga Cyenzaza na Katerera Rukoma hino rukuza kwibitaka no bakubahoki abantu bafitemo babukare bakora imirimo yabo amataka gabo hino kuza kurwata kandi twikirezana twena na district security office RDC na security hibararebe umushejogo akwatwe atugambire cyakwenza amataka ga kuno ni cyo twara umunaku iryaho ero hamazina amanyangwe mbabazi Karembe tukumwetigeza no wankahi teyine headed paper tere signed arya takeninga ntango muno nkuru kureba turiyo muhika almost inka 2009 almost bitano so tino kubasa kurkwata hitakeri as long as tuya bebembeza ubwo mu rukumurwe nankaga batatita bataba bino society ege yarukom batanu bahingiramo no kuza kurkwata nyona as long as nankiri umwe bembeza tino kuza kurkwata.
Thank you, our reporter, for that report. But for now, allow us take a quick break. We return back with the international stories.